So this topic might be a relatively heated topic when it comes to music. I'm a musician. I play keyboards, play drums, guitar, but keyboards is my main thing. And I've, since day one, when computers came out, I think it was 1985, 86, if I remember correctly, in my first practice I had a XT computer with a floppy drive in, and then we went to a 10 meg hard drive, that kind of level. Then I had sequencing software. It was called Orchestrator. You could only do MIDI sequencing, but I was kind of pushing the technology at that stage already. To be able to do multi-track recording was like, that was going to be only for studios that had to record on multi-track tape. And then eventually we got onto like a 4-track tape that I can put a cassette in and it will be able to record multi-tracks on. It was like cool. I think it was called Q-Tech. Yeah. I still remember from PE riding up to George to go and buy it. Midnight I rocked up there, bought the thing from the guy and came down with it. And then we went into digital recording. I also had a 16-track Roland. Yeah, was it Roland? Wow, forgot the actual model name. But that could do multi-track, little desk like that. And we went through the iterations of it. And every time when the next thing came out, when they got onto computers and they said, well, now you can do multi-tracks, like up to 256 tracks of audio you can record on there. It's going to do away with studios. It didn't do away with studios. All it did was it took the technology in the studios and it helped them to foster in their direction. But they also had a lifespan because people would now do it, what they could do in the studio, do in the home, but the quality wouldn't be. The quality then starts diminishing and it goes all that way till eventually guys in their home studios could up their game. But like those that saw the need in studio things to make sure that they have an ecosystem, for example, a recording studio where the sound was great or where they had engineers that could function well in that space, still kept their importance in the arena. So they weren't totally, pushed out of the scene. However, there was a shift. When it comes now to AI, there is a shift happening, and I think it's much, much bigger than any shift before. I know in times ago we used to have the Industrial Revolution, when they came out with industrial, say, car, and they never had cars before. People would go like, everyone's going to lose their job. But then people started using the cars and other opportunities arose. However, with AI, it is not that kind of same thing. It's almost that you're going to shift your mindset as to how it works. And I'm going to cover now the story about music. And also I'll play a song or two of the music that we're doing, but tell you the journey that I've decided to go on because it's part of my technology seeking. My friends in the band would say, yeah, but Rory, you've always been doing this. We were here and then you were busy fiddling with all the technology. Like, for example, I use Gig Performer. So, you get sound modules and you connect the modules up and you get your nice amps and valve amps and Marshall amps and all that sort of stuff for guitars and nice. I moved on to a thing called Gig Performer, which is like, what's that thing called? GarageBand. Apple uses GarageBand, but they got proprietary sounds in it. And Gig Performer is like a blank template and you just drag and drop, put in your plugins. You can create any ecosystem, even up to managing your lights from it, controlling systems, everything. But I've been using that already to get my Fender Rhodes sound, using, keyscapes and all that sort of stuff, blending all of them. But using that as a standalone VST operator, not going through a DAW, where the heaviness of the DAW, the CPU processing retards everything. So I've been using a thing like Gig Performer for quite a while, and I haven't seen many people here locally using it. I've tried to introduce them. They'll probably get to that sometime. But now I've adopted the AI part of music. And the best way that I can explain it to you so that you don't feel too threatened by it, because if you go like these oaks, this is not real music. There's this AI, guys are clicking, you can hear AI. Now, of course, it's like generating a script, a email, using ChatGPT and sending an email. I'll look at it and go like, okay, this is AI generated. Because it's in its early stages, you can see it. But it's not so much that it's its early stages, but the prompt that you gave it was just very basic, and it uses that. If you prompt it correctly, if I tell the thing to write a letter, I look at it and I go like, no, this letter sounds too formal, it sounds too AI generated. I want it to be more relaxed. I'm this kind of person. I am a friendly person. The person I'm sending it to is a friendly person. We've been friends for the past 20 years. He's a guy that likes jokes. I like sometimes being serious. If I tell the prompt all of that, now you might think that's excessive, but if I tell the AI all of those features of my personality or that person's personality and how I want the letter to have a tone, it will write that letter exactly like, and you wouldn't be able to tell whether that was AI generated or not. So the prompt is the key thing when it comes to a lot of AI generated stuff like writing a letter. When it comes to code and mathematics, it's hardcore. You just say, I've got this, I want to have this app like I made, and I said the starting of interface is going to have 4 buttons, and it has color codes, and I have RGB sliders also, so I can choose the color of the app when it gets started. I said, okay, do it. It generates the code. Now I did it in a code called Python, and then I put it in and I run it, I test it, I go like, this thing's not working. I say, look at this thing, the sliders look a bit too old-fashioned. Can you make them more kind of softer looking, more like a mobile app looking? And then it does an iteration of that. I run it, I go, and I do coding, not because I know a single thing of code, but it's the ability to tell the AI what to give. And that same principle I've been using with music. Okay, so I try to look at it in this way to best explain it to people that feel kind of intimidated. The people that after I play a song for them and they go like, oh, this is awesome, it's funky, everything. And they go like, okay, who's singing here? And then initially I used to just say it's AI, but now I'm kind of like, that's my production. It's, I kind of avoid who's the vocalist and all that because it looks like they get disappointed rather than appreciating the actual music. So what I do is when I share with people, I say to them, in the real world, when we used to get together, you'd have a guy coming on a Thursday night, so we have band practice. And the guy comes and he pulls out the guitar and his little, maybe plays 3 or 4 chords, and he goes like, the song goes something like this. I've been with you forevermore. And we'll listen, and then the drummer would go like, okay, like something like, and he goes like, yeah, cool. And then the drummer would put a bit of where he's at, and we'll listen, and then on the keys I'll go like, ding, 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 and go like, that chord is maybe a bit too soon, hold back on that chord, and we'll start putting together the song. The drummer, me on keys, bass guitarist who would start getting a bit of a groove. The guy might say, I like that groove, but can you keep it more first, staccato first, and then later when we get to the chorus, then we rock with it. And then goes guitarist, do a little lick, vocalist, and we build it together, play the little first verse, and you build up the song like that. In studios, like you'd have somebody like a famous musician coming in and he goes like, okay, this is the song. And the producer would sit and go like, okay, tell the engineer, okay, just bring in just a sound, we can get the drum in later, but I want to hear the sound. And then they start to work on the song. And the producer starts to go like, okay, this is the feel. And they slowly build it up. When it comes to writing lyrics, guy would sit and go like, okay, I'm going to write a song now about happiness. Then he'll go like, I'm happy because I know it. And then maybe I'm happy but I don't want to show it. Then he, okay, writes that, rhymes, and then he puts it in, goes to the lyrics. Oh no, this changes this, and writes the lyrics, but everything that he has within his scope of his head. Okay, so writing songs, producing songs, and everything is a collaboration of people coming together. Or sometimes a guy comes or a girl comes with a song that's kind of polished the way they want it. There are some musicians that go like, this is how I want it, and they've got it all in their head that you've got to produce those sounds, and then they'll go and do it there. Now, if we shift over to that being the idea, if we shift over to AI, there are platforms in AI, there are various ones. You know, I'm not going to sort of highlight a specific one, but in the platform that I'm using at the moment, it started off with basically saying, this is the style you want. You want a style that says, you know, jazz, comma, funky, comma, syncopated, comma. So there were like little things you gave, and that was based on your limited thing of what you thought it was. And then the AI would use those prompts to kind of generate I shouldn't say a random thing, but it would take those nuances and create one of the genres, but learn from what you're saying. Then the lyrics, you put the lyrics down, but because you can use AI, you say, this is my kind of rough outline of the song. Or some people would go, I want to write a song about swimming in the ocean, you know, because you can write songs about anything. Now at this point people go like, then you mean anybody could just give the AI a prompt to write a song and it will come? And the answer is pretty much yes. But then again, like I said earlier, with the audio, with the text, you can know it's an AI song, because when you hear the lyrics, the rhyming and the words, it sounds AI. I can hear it. A good processed one can hide away from it, but you can pretty much hear the AI when it is, you know, just I'm swimming in the water, because the rhyming goes really, really corny. But the initial ones used to do that. They used to be quite corny and whatever, and pretty much if you mentioned any artist's name, it would copyright it, says you can't use that name because you maybe wanted a style from that artist. We are now, I can't even say years down the line, we are many months down the line, because this thing works at warp speed. AI just grows. The platform that I'm using now, you can go, say for example, I'm hearing a thing that's maybe Billabonty, a vibe of Billabonty, or I've got maybe like an Earth, Wind and Fire style, or I've got maybe Al Jarreau vibe, or whatever it is. I have these vibes in my head. Now I can put their names in there and I say, I want this thing and this particular song of theirs, this groove of their song. And then I press a little magic wand, and what it does is it doesn't use their names. It goes and it sees that's the artist, the style. It knows the song. It then gets a prompt for me. It generates a prompt for me that best and closest expresses the genre of that song that will be there. Then if I write a song, I say, this is the song, this is the style, the lyrics, and then I say the lyrics feel a bit too cheesy. I want it to be, you know, powerful, and I want it to be syncopated in its feel, and I don't want every line to rhyme. So my prompt, again, coming back to that, the prompt is the most important thing. So now I, like a producer sitting and I'm telling the AI, I want it to be this way, that way. It generates it for me, and I go like, nah, I'm going to replace these lyrics and whatever it is. And I go, in the chorus part, I want it to build up with, you know, a bit of brass pieces and everything like that. And then I ask it, what should it say? It gives me what I must put at the chorus part to be able to initiate a brass piece. Now, of course, I'm not playing the actual brass solo that the thing must play, because I'm not a saxophonist or a trumpet or anything, but I am using the technology and what it's capable of. The technology is using all the brass players that have been pulled into it, and listening to the song, listening to the genre, knowing my prompts that I have, and it gives me a saxophone part or a guitar part that I'm requesting. And that's why when I play it, I go like, oh, spot on. It's because I know what I want, and I'm prompting it to give me exactly what I want. Now, the question is that me directing the AI to give me stuff, doing iterations? Like sometimes there's a song that I go through probably 30, 40 iterations because I do the modification, I generate the sound, it plays maybe in the first verse, it's just not doing it for me. I delete that, I do different iterations. Now all the iterations modify all the prompts, change the thing, and then when I get to a piece that's brilliant, but there's a part of it that I don't particularly, I can go into the program with the AI, take that part and ask it just to generate that as a different part. It will play the whole thing and play a different part in there, but fully matched, and you won't know there's been an edit in there. I can then pull out the stems if I want to from the AI, and then I can get into a studio and I could play individual parts with the AI, or I can use the stems as a guide for us to practice for a live show. So that for me is empowering. I don't have to sit and wait for a producer outside. I don't have to wait for musicians to get my ideas down, to get my music down. And then I go into something like DistroKid, where I publish my stuff and then it gets onto YouTube, it gets onto Spotify, Apple Music, through DistroKids as all my music that's on there. Lots of the music that we're doing now is under the label of our band, our Zoe band. And what we're doing is putting out the tracks there and then getting into the studio and recording our live versions of it and do a concert with it. But now we're not sitting with an idea that the band has to work within our scope. We're developing the end product or close to the end product and breaking it down so that we can know the parts, and then we develop and add our own touch to it. And that's where the beauty lies. So hopefully you're seeing where this is going to. Let me just see here. I think I'm just highlighting here loops. Remember the time when we went like, no, in music, playing loops is not real music because you're taking somebody's piece of music and you're just copying and pasting it and looping. But producers in the studio, when they're busy recording from days gone by, if the chorus of the song is tight and it's solid there, you'd find the guys who'd copy that and blend it in as the second chorus. They won't re-record the chorus again. There's some guys I know in studios that will record the verse into the chorus, then they record the chorus, and they record segments. They don't record the whole thing once. So that is also copy and paste. Similar to what we're doing in AI, it's not, the band didn't play the second chorus. It was copied from the first chorus. So is that cheating? When somebody puts loops in, there's a loop that goes. Guys who are playing now with click tracks, with backing tracks, is that cheating? So all of these things are mechanisms to facilitate the end user enjoying the music. So I sit and I listen to my music. My wife listens to my music. We enjoy listening to it. It feels as a sense of we wrote it and we enjoyed every part of it, and that's why the music sounds good to us. We're not having to only listen to, a song that somebody else wrote that was produced by somebody else, but doesn't maybe have the feel that we'd like, but we've got used to that. You could actually be part of writing songs that impact. So yeah, the loops, vocalist story also, if you must listen, I'll play out some of the vocal tracks. The vocals are phenomenal. In the early stages, yes, there was a bit of squelch in the voices, but the vocals are phenomenal. And again, I haven't scratched the surface even with prompts to get this high level that I've got now. If I start to prompt it more specifically, I could even tweak it to the next level, which is where we're going to.
In the quiet of the morning, in the stillness of the night, every breath that I breathe, a gift of pure life. When the storms rage high around me, when the tears refuse to dry, I remember you sustain me with your breath.
So my working platform is, I have a concept. The one song I wrote, which I love, is Back to the Garden. It's about going back to the garden, getting back to the roots, back to Eden. So that was the words I had in my head, back to the garden. I put it in a prompt, and I said, look, this is the concept. No matter what happens here and the ideologies we have and things go on, we have to get back to the principle of the garden. So that is the narrative I want. And then I said, generate a song for me on that. And then started removing lines, changing lines, and then said, okay, tweak it and all that. And I love the song now. The groove is there. The lyrics is superb. But it wasn't just a one-liner and generate a song and walk away. It took a lot of time, and a lot of iterations. And that's, for me, is worth its weight in gold.
Believe in me, and now you go back to the garden where it all began. Walking with Yahweh, hand in hand. Not way down by ideology. Not lost in the noise. Let's head on back to the garden.
And I enjoy doing it, and I hope you get inspired to do it. If you're a musician, you can, in the chat at the bottom, send a message through. I don't look too much, I must say, at all the chats, but periodically I'll look at this one because I think there are musicians that would be interested. And then I can show you in the right direction of what I've been doing and so forth. So I think that's about all that I wanted to cover on here. So hopefully it inspires you to think of it differently. The bottom line is, if people don't adopt this technology, other people are it's out there already. I mean, I can know AI stuff that is playing over there. I can sense them. My goal is to make it sound like you don't even know it's an AI. So I don't want to sound like technical AI. But I think anybody could do a simple prompt and a simple song and be out there. The hardest part of all of this process, as I close on this here, and then I'll play a few tracks going out. Not a few tracks, just a few snippets of maybe 3 or 4 tracks so you can hear it. The hardest part about all of this is that when I have a song and it's solid, but I'm not feeling it really, but it's a brilliant song. It's like if I had to hear it, would be awesome. I don't actually keep it in the list. I delete it. And I'm in control of it. And you might say, but why just keep it somewhere in case? The problem I find is that I constantly want to go there. And once that hooks into my ear, I struggle to make another sound work for me. So I have the principle that if it doesn't click with me, I take it out. And then I think to myself, I probably might have been deleting a number 1 hit by deleting that particular thing. But again, maybe the one that I keep is never going to be a number 1 hit, but it's something that I enjoy. And I think as musicians, if we enjoy music, there will be one at least other person who would enjoy it. In my case, I'm fortunate that my wife simply loves music. And she's a musician, a dancer. She appreciates good quality music. So I'm encouraged by that. And then, of course, our Zoe band, the band of guys that we play with, we're looking forward to our next project to record, where we've got a set list already. We've set up, passed it to the guys, and they've chosen the ones that match each one wants to play. We've got that set list, and we're busy going to work on those stuff, go into the studio and record them. And then ultimately we are going to get out there on stage and we're going to play these things live. But at least at this point we have recordings of them, whether it's done in preparation, whether it's done in the live studio, that we can circulate to people. So when they come to a concert or a little get-together show, that they're familiar with the songs. Last night I was just walking inside and my wife kept singing this song over and over, one of the songs that I've kind of forgotten. And I thought, this is cool. This is worth its weight in gold. I'm going to carry on doing this. And as we speak now, my daughter sent me a little thing about sisters, about two sisters taking care of each other, two little young baby kids, one caring, the older one caring for the younger one. And I just thought it would be beautiful to write a song about sisters, the beauty, the warmth of it, that when they grow up, you know, they maybe have other friends, get married, whatever it is, but still the importance of having that sister connection. So that's my next project, to write a song. So this becomes doable because of AI. I don't have to sit with a keyboard or wait for my friends to connect with me or anything. I can sit, chat to the AI, instruct it, prompt it, get the vibe going, redo, edit, redo, till I get where I want to be. So cool. Hopefully that encourages you all. And yeah, maybe in the description at the bottom I'll put my Telegram link also, so you can communicate with me. If you don't have some of the tools, the one that I use is a subscription based, the AI tool for music. The other tools are all free tools. Then I can pass that information directly onto you. I don't want to populate this with particular apps and so forth, because in another 6 months another app might come and it might become more useful for me, and then I've got to fight against this app that I promoted and so forth. So yeah, send me a little note at the bottom here, better on Telegram, and then I can respond to that. So hopefully you enjoy these different vibes of music, and I'll play out with this. I think maybe I'll choose maybe 4 or 5 songs of kind of different styles, and you can see how we enjoy that. Cool. Fantastic. Let's play out with some nice Zoe band music.
Forever you will be the Lamb upon the throne, the Lamb upon the throne. I fall down and worship you, worthy, you alone, you alone. All the heavens proclaim Messiah's atoning word. Your love holds me close, never compromise. All my life you've been faithful and true. Oh, faithful, true. Through every storm, your have breaks through. Your love breaks through. With every breath, I'll shout your name. Oh, faithful, it's always the same. Through fires blaze and shadows call, oh, you're my shelter.